Hi guys, today I'm going to go over what we have growing in the cold frame and what we are winter sowing. So, most of these seeds I got through Baker's Creek, and this one right here is called oyster leaf. This is the first time I've grown this one, and yeah, so it's supposed to it's perennial, hardy to zones 3, and it grows along Scottish coastlines. It's a tender leaf, and it's supposed to kind of taste, well, like the name says, kind of like an oyster. So I'm kind of excited about seeing this one grow. Not only am I looking forward to tasting it, but I'm also looking forward to growing it out in the garden because of its beautiful bluey green leaves. Okay, this next one I'm growing is called marshmallow. This is a perennial African native, original source of marshmallows. So they used to actually make what a confection that is kind of similar to today's marshmallows. So it is edible, and it's also beautiful as well. Okay, next one I have here is a blue sage. I actually grew some of these last year, and so they should come back this year. So this is actually going to be my second year sowing these. Okay, then we have echinacea. This one is called Paradiso Super Duper. Beautiful echinacea, beautiful flowers. So perennial zones 3 to 10, dazzling double-petaled echinacea in the most charming rosy tones. Okay, the next one is another echinacea variety. This one is called Paradoxa. Beautiful yellow flower with these beautiful centers that stand up. Very unique looking. This is a perennial and Ozark native plant that has reputed medicinal value. Bright golden yellow coneflower. Very pretty. And the next one we have, this one is a Rudbeckia Goldstrom. I actually bought one of these last fall, and I have it right now in our raised vegetable garden beds so that I can put it out in the spring out into the garden. But when I saw these, I couldn't resist because I wanted to have a nice drift of these. They're so beautiful. So they're also, the other name that they're known as is the classic black-eyed Susans, and they are heat and drought tolerant and perennial in zones 3 to 8. Okay, the next one we have is a common yarrow. And I have other yarrow. In fact, I have, I think, 2 or 3 different varieties of yarrow. But I wanted the common yarrow because yarrow is also known for its medicinal qualities, but it's the common yarrow that carries the most medicinal value. So that's the reason why I wanted to buy some of this. Okay, then we have some classic lupine Russell hybrid mix. I did grow a few of these last year, but I believe that most of them ended up dying out through the summer last year. We had a very dry year, and yeah, so trying them again. Then we have our delphiniums, Fantasia mix. I did plant a few of these out last year. I don't know if any of them are, again, have survived. So again, resowing these. Then we have the pink dandelion. Now we do have some of these growing in the front flower bed up against our house, and they've done great. This year will be their third year, and not only are they beautiful looking flowers, but the flowers are edible and so are the leaves. And this variety is a lot less bitter than the dandelion, the American standard yellow dandelion is. So an extra bonus for this flower. Then we got foxgloves. I have yet to be successful at growing foxgloves. This will be, I think, my third year growing these. And yes, I know they are biennial, which means, you're not going to get the flower spikes until the second year. But for whatever reason, they'll go along like the first year okay, but then the second year, either something happens or they just don't come back. So I'm going to try these again and see how we do. Next one is called a Salsify Mammoth Sandwich Long Island. Now this one, it's an European native heirloom, tasty in soups and stews or cooked alone, also called oyster plant. So this is another one that actually the roots of this one, when cooked, they taste very similar to oyster. Next one is, this is a new hyssop I'm growing. It's called anise. Has a wonderful licorice type flavor to it. Beautiful green leaves and purple flower spikes. Perennial leaves, sweetly anise scented and flavored, makes a wonderful tea, and bees adore it. Okay, this is another new one for us this year. It's called miner's lettuce. I read about this when I was reading up on edible plants in, foraging for edible plants out in the wild. And miner's lettuce is one of the great tasting plants that just grow out in the wild. So I am growing these to actually grow in our garden beds, because I've heard so much about them. And so it's 40 days annual, reseeds easily in USDA zones 6 and warmer. So I'm hoping that we're not going to be too cold for it, but we'll just have to see. But I am still looking forward to trying that in a salad. Okay, next one is Agastanche Rose Mint. I grew this not last year, but the year before. It did fantastic, grew great, and died back. And then I thought for sure this one was going to come back, and it never did. And I have another one that I'll show you next that didn't come back either. I'm going to give this another go and see how it does, because this one, these Agastanches, the smell on them is just amazing, and the flowers that they put off are beautiful. The bees love them. There's just so many benefits to these. So the description is an aromatic perennial with phenomenal minty rose fragrance. And yes, it does actually have that rosy smell to it. It's beautiful. The lavender rose-colored blooms are irresistible nectar to nectar lovers. Thrives in poor soil. And then this is the other one. Again, I grew this, did great, and then never came back. This is Agastanche Navajo Sunset. Southwest native perennial that is irresistible to nectar lovers like hummingbirds and bees. Beautiful orange blooms with an incredible citrus scent. So both of these I planted and I intermixed the two of these together, and it actually gave like this beautiful, like almost like a rainbow effect, because the flowers are so much alike. And the plants kind of grew in between each other, and it looked like it was putting off all these different color blooms. So it's really a beautiful effect, and I'll probably try to do the same thing again this year. Okay, the next one is again a new variety. It's called a butterfly bush hybrid mix. So I'm going to try growing this. So this is perennial in USDA zones 5 to 9. Host a melody of beneficial pollinators with this perennial shrub. Blooms in its first year grown from seed in purple, lilac, and ivory colors from summer to fall on 3 to 5 foot plants. Bees, hummingbirds, and butterflies love this long season bloomer. So I am looking forward to that. Okay, the next one we have is Zabrina. Beautiful flower. And I do believe that this is also medicinal and edible. Melva's white flowers with purple stripes add a look of distinction. Impressive, long, tall borders in cottage gardens and wildflower areas will self-seed at the end of the blooming season. I love it when things self-seed. But beautiful plant. Beautiful flowers. Okay, the next one, another new one for me this year, is called Love in a Mist. I just think this plant from the photographs is just absolutely gorgeous. This mix is called Miss Jekyll Mix. This is an annual, a standard since at least as far back as the 1930s, blooms like smoky gems in mellow tones of rose, sky blue, dark blue, and white. Okay, this is another new one for me this year. It's a chamomile Callaway Golden. Now this chamomile is not the same as the chamomile that we use for teas. It does not have the same scent and other characteristics as the more familiar variety of chamomile with the white flowers on it. But this one is a perennial in USDA zones 3 to 7, undermanding perennial native to Middle East. Clumping plant reaches 3 feet tall. Blooms average 1.5 inches across. Plants will eagerly bloom from summer to fall. Deadheading will extend this beautiful show. So, looking forward to this one. It just has this beautiful round globe growth habit. And then it gets these beautiful yellow flowers that cover it. Very similar to a mum. Okay, the next one we have here, again, this is a new one for me. It's horehound. And this is where you get horehound or make traditional horehound candy from. Horehound is great as a cough suppressant, and it has other medicinal values as well. Perennial mounds of silvery foliage around 18-inch tall and somewhat broader. Delicate white flowers, the traditional remedy for coughs. So, okay. This is the bellflower, a perennial. And I tried growing this last year. I didn't really have much success with it. So I'm trying it again. And this one, it's a perennial, charming, spreading plant, is covered with clusters of bell-shaped bright blue flowers in the summer. The dark green leaves are triangular and toothed, outstanding in rock gardens, borders, and containers. Okay, and the next one is showy milkweed. So I grew some of this last year, but again, because we were so dry, I'll be surprised if any come back. So I'm going to grow some more of this. Main reason I'm growing milkweed is for the monarch butterflies. Kale. This is dwarf blue Scotch curled kale. This is my favorite kale. I've grown this for quite a number of years. But this is the first year that I decided to try growing some by sowing it out in the cold frame. Some of these plants that I've showed you here, some of them I've put in our cold frame in planting containers with some soil and sprinkled them with some water, and then I put a cover over that, and then they're also inside of a large cold frame. And I'm hoping, because I didn't have enough to do all of these plants with the water jugs or milk jugs method, I think I did 7 or 8 of them with the milk jug method, and you can look that up on YouTube. That's quite popular method for winter sowing plants. And anyhow, so but this one, I think hopefully it'll be fine the way that we're growing it in the cold frame, but we'll see. Something different, and I'll keep you guys updated on that as well. So this kale is nice because it doesn't get that big. It doesn't grow very big. The leaves don't get that big either because they're really curly and crinkly. So it's a nice compact plant, and the flavor on it is just amazing. You can make kale chips and all sorts of wonderful things with it. And I've always had great success in growing it in our area. Okay, this is a slow bolt cilantro. This is my second year growing this. And this year I'm going to try to grow this in multiple areas, semi-shade, as well as some other areas. Parsley, single Italian plain leaf parsley. Lovage. This is my first time growing this. It's a perennial, so hopefully this will come back year after year. The leaves and seeds impart a nice celery taste, can be used in soups, salads, pickles, and more. So a nice edible plant, and a beautiful one as well. I love the look of the foliage. Okay, this is a blue balloon flower. This one, again, I tried growing it before and I never had really much luck with it. But it's a beautiful plant with these beautiful blue flowers that they come out and they almost look like Chinese lanterns. And then at some point they just pop open and they form these beautiful blue stars. So trying it again, it should be a perennial in our area, so I'm hoping that we have success with this one this year. Hollyhocks. I did plant some of these in the garden this last year, and I think hopefully they'll come back this year and actually grow their spikes this year, so we'll see. But I just loved the look of this flower. The peachy, light peachy cream color on them is just gorgeous. So growing some more of those. Nasturtiums, dwarf jewel mix. This is a new one for me this year. This is a red hot poker. I just thought the flower spikes on that were so cool looking. I'm growing some more Madonna Shasta daisies. These are a short variety of the classic daisy. They only get, I think, 24 inches tall. And those are perennial. Then we have the Korean Golden Jubilee. Now this one, I grew this, this has been growing in my garden now for the past 2 years. So this has come back, and it's a beautiful plant. It's got these lime green leaves on it. So the foliage has a ton of interest in it. And then it gets these, on top of that, it gets these beautiful purple flower spikes that just cover it. The bees love it, and it makes a fantastic tea. We still have some of the tea left that I jarred in mason jars, and we brew quite a bit of tea with it, and the tea is just, it's phenomenal. It makes a wonderful tea. Okay, and then we got the classic chamomile. This is the German variety. And chamomile is great. It's one of those plants that usually once you plant it once, and you usually don't have to plant it again. But I am planting it again because we love saving the flower heads to make teas with. And I can so far I haven't been able to have enough chamomile plants in my garden, so I'm growing more. Then we got the Poppy Hungarian Blue. I had success with these a couple of years ago, and was actually able to get a few of them, the poppy heads, to dry out, and I actually saved the seed heads. So these make wonderful poppies for, like, if you want to make breads or bagels and sprinkle the poppies on top. They're fantastic for that. Not only that, they're beautiful flowers as well on top of that. This is a new one for me this year, a Scabiosa pincushion flower. I just think the flowers themselves are so beautiful, but they also are one of those flowers that when they die back, the dead part of the flower is it's really interesting looking. So it adds another level of interest to this plant. Then we have the classic borage. I had a little bit of luck last year growing this, but it ended up dying because of all the because it was just so dry last year. But I did get one to flower. But I'm growing more borage this year as well. And then the last one is just the classic Echinacea purple coneflower. I have some of this growing out there. I've been very successful with this variety. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to get a bigger drift of them going. And this one, it's large, long-lasting, rosy purple flowers surround an orange-brown center. It's perennial in zones 3 to 10. All right, guys, so that is it. That's my, that's what I've got growing right now, or that I'm winter sowing outside. And I will keep you guys updated, give you a tour once things begin to warm up, and take you out there and show you how things are coming along. Hope you guys are having a great day, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye-bye.